we don't have teachers. We also went to borrow also some to help us. The only thing we didn't borrow from HCI was the students. I have never been the top scholars in my whole life in the Chinese High as well as HwaChies. It doesn't really matter now. It doesn't define me as a person.
Welcome to the first episode of HwaChies Voices, HCIS's first and only school podcast. I am Mantra and I'm from class IB1T, and I will be your host for today. For the first episode, we have a very special guest. You probably have seen him as the guest of honor in various school events. He is the chairman of the board of HCIS, Dr. Sia Nam Chie. Dr. Sia graduated from the Chinese High School in 1986 and from HwaChies Junior College in 1988. He is a senior vice president at Hong Leong Finance and, of course, the current chairman of the board of HCIS. Dr. Sia, welcome to the HwaChies Voices podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Dr. Sia, today on the podcast, we would like to know more about the school. But before that, we would like to know about your own school life in HwaChies Institution.
I entered the Chinese high school. At that time, it was called the Chinese High School in 1983. I graduated from the Chinese High School in 1986. And then I went on to HwaChies Junior College in 1987 and 1988. Right? So in the life in the Chinese high school, I think the first 2 years were very overwhelmed for me. So you know that from the primary school, we have 4 subjects, and then to the secondary school, and suddenly we have like 8 subjects. Okay, and in my first year, we have this so-called full day school. So we started school at 7:30 and we knock off most of the days at about 4:30. Except on Wednesday, then we knock off a bit earlier at 1 p.m. So it's very long, very overwhelmed for me. But I think subsequently they scrapped it, so I enjoyed it a bit more. We have so I remember in Sec 3, Sec 4, although we were preparing for our O level, life was very hectic. But I think we have more time to play football. So I was quite happy that even my class, they organized, okay, in the Chinese high school, we have a lot of tournaments like volleyball, basketball, but there's no football tournament. Okay, those were organized by the school, but not the football. So our class took the lead and organized one for our level. And we were very happy playing football in the field. So I remember all those, and it fostered a lot of friendship. For my time in the HwaChies Junior College, I think that is something that I want to share, and it's quite unique in the sense. Because 4 months into my stay in the HwaChies Junior College, the school was announced to be the building was not safe for the students, so we have to move out. So I have only stayed about 4 months in the school campus, and then we moved first to Ngee Ann Poly, then to Woodland, and subsequently in 1988 it was to Bukit Batok. Okay, so it's moved 3 times. We used to joke, in the Chinese they have this thing called 孟母三迁. So Mengzi is a very he's a scholar, right? When he was young, his mother has to move 3 times to give him the good environment, so that to nurture him in the right way. So we thought that was like the pre-move give us a good environment. But I think it's the resilience that we have to pick up. So the facilities was of course not as good as what we have in the HwaChies campus, but we have to move out, and we even as a JC students, right? I can take school bus to the school because it was quite remote at that time in Woodland as well as in the Bukit Batok. It was quite remote. The town was not fully developed yet. Public transport was not so available. So the school actually arrange for school buses to pick us to school and then pick us back.
Could you tell us if you were like the top scorer of the school and about your grades?
Okay, I have never been the top scholars in my whole life in the Chinese high as well as Hwa Chong. So in fact, I have never been in the top 10 in a Chinese high school. In those days, we still announce who is like the top guy, second, third, even until the last guy. So I've never been the top 10. Although that was one of my aim, but I never achieved it. But when I look back, right, whether I am top 10, top 1, or top, even among the last or whatever, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't define me as a person. So, although in those days you feel very demoralized when you didn't do well, in a particular test or exam or subject, um, but now I look back, it doesn't change me a single thing, right? Although I was quite down at certain time, at certain exam, I didn't do well. I was like, wow, it's almost like the end of the world. But now look back, it's just a, a passing story. So I want to encourage every one of you as well to try your best. As to what you achieve or what the results are, leave it to the nature. As long as you have tried your best, as long as you can ask yourself, have you given the best shot? If you have, then whatever result, accept it, move on, learn from the mistakes. If you didn't do well enough, then ask yourself why you have not done well enough, and then improve from there. Okay, so am I must say right now when I look back, yeah, I'm okay. I'm not the top scholar. In fact, I'm quite proud that I'm not the top scholar. No, it really proves that even if you are not among the top, you can still do well in life. Okay, and when I have gathering with my classmates now, a lot of them say, "Oh, last time we were this, we were that, we were never the top, but we still do well in life." So I also want to share with all the students now, you know, do your best. All right, don't really be bogged down with the results. Okay, you are good enough, you do well, and you try your best. As long as you keep this in your life, you will succeed.
Seeing as you are a graduate of HCI, do you think there are any major differences between HCI students in HCI and HCIS?
Between HCI and HCIS, there will be differences as well. But I don't think that while we are different, we cannot work together, right? So that's the important thing. See, and I want every students and staff and teachers in HCIS to know as well how we came about um, as HCIS. We also owe a lot to the HCI because in the earlier year, we were nothing, right? You don't even have a syllabus. So it was the principal at that time, Dr. Horn. He also played a very critical part, getting his teachers to help us design the curriculum, right? The kind of value we want in HCIS. When we started, the campus we don't have enough. Where do we get the classroom? We went to borrow some or rent some from HCI. Right? We don't have principal. We second one from HCI. Right? We don't have teachers. We also went to borrow or second some to help us. The only thing we didn't borrow from HCI was the students. If we could have borrowed some students, I'm sure they will do very well if we start with a very fabulous result. But of course, that was not possible. So I want to know that, to let people know that without the help from HCI, there will be no HCIS today. Okay? So, but we know from the start that when we want to develop the two schools, HCI will be going through the A level route, and HCIS will go through IB route. So to start with, they are different already, right? In terms of the way we want to teach the students. But what we are very mindful that the value should be the same. That's why you have the school motto as 自强不息. Okay, 自强不息 means you have to continue to develop and upgrade and never stop working. Okay, and that's the same for HCI. Okay, then we also have the spirits, right? The 饮水思源, when you drink the water, you must think of where it comes from, right? That is to say, in life, next time you will be a successful person, remember who have nurtured you. Of course, your parents, your friends, and very importantly, also the school.
Stop right there. Subscribe now.
Smash that like button.
That's really important.
Yes.
So, just out of curiosity, are your children studying in HwaChies?
No, none of my boys studied in HwaChies. I want to let them choose. Okay, they have to choose their path. So even at secondary school, I'm quite happy that my wife and I, we have this common understanding. We should let them choose. So we brought them around. We let them see the schools that they can choose, and they make their decision. Yeah.
That's really good.
Mm.
That's wonderful. Now I would like to talk more about how you joined the HwaChies board itself. So, you are a very accomplished man yourself. So, like, how do you get into volunteering in the first place, into HCIS, like ultimately, like joining the board of directors?
It's a long journey. So I started volunteering in HwaChies in the HwaChies alumni. So at that time, I was the youngest members in the council. So my thought was just to go in and learn something from the rest, and pick up some skills that I cannot do in the work life. One very touching time was when the alumni need some money. He lent some money, 6-digit figures to the alumni, and he actually told the alumni there is no fixed time that you need to return to me. And even I believe if the alumni don't have the means to return the money to him, he will not go and demand for the return. I think he was prepared to just give it to the alumni. So it's that kind of spirits, the selfless, the give back of the seniors that really touched me. And I say, hey, how the school have nurtured so many dedicated seniors among that generation. Then among my generation, cannot be that we don't have any, right? So I try to learn from them and see how I can maybe do 1 or 2% of what they have done. So I give my time, I give some thoughts, and whatever projects that they have assigned to me, I tried my best. And hopefully I don't disappoint all those seniors. So it was in the alumni, and then later on, there was this very also dedicated senior, okay, by the name of Mr. Hu Mingzhen, Ho Mingzhen. Okay, so I'm not sure whether you know about it. The piece of land that SIM has, okay, belongs to us. All right. So it was leased out to SIM for 60 years in 1985. So the lease will expire in 2045. Okay. So Mr. O actually said that, hey, by the time the lease expire, right, they will all not be around. So they need a young person to be in the BOD, the board, right, to know the history and know that by 2045, we have to go and get the piece of land back. So that's how he nominated me to the board, and I think he convinced some senior to accept me as well. So I'm quite lucky to have all these seniors who trust me and nurture me. So naturally, I think that since all these people give me their faith and their trust, right, I cannot disappoint them. In HCIS, we wants to emphasize that it is not the academic result that is the most important. It is not. It is the whole holistic. Even if we have to, let's say, compromise a little bit of the academic result, but we make it strong physically, spiritually, and culturally, I think we succeed. Okay, so we have been trying very hard to promote culture. We are bringing in even some outside uh, organizations to see how we can work with them. And we want to nurture the HCIS students, right, with the right culture, the right spirits, the right value. That's why we emphasize a lot in terms of the values, right? So that is the second thing, how we differentiate the school, right? And of course, we are also um, investing in all the facilities. We are upgrading our computer facilities. I think you all know in the classroom, we renovated it, we put in smart TV and all those. Um, that is to build what we call like the future school. Uh, so that next time, if a student cannot come to the classroom, he can still learn. It doesn't mean that you are sick on the day, you cannot attend school, you cannot learn anymore, right? So we want to promote this learn anywhere, anytime for the students. And that is also a way that we can link up with the, we co-manage one school in Guangzhou called HCIS. We try to bring the school name outside Singapore. Okay? We are very strong in Singapore already. Everybody in Singapore, almost I think people have heard about Chong. They know that it's a top school. But in Asia, are we really that top? Maybe not yet. So that's what we also want to try to bring it out, to tell people how good the school is. I'm also trying my best to see how we can communicate that. During my school days, I only know of board members, their faces were put on our yearbook. And maybe during some important occasions, they will come and be the guest of honor, or some VIP, right? But actually, the board has been doing a lot of things behind the scene. And that's why I want to also let the students know as well. I think this board is a very involved board, hands-on board, especially for HCIS. Sometimes even too hands-on, that's all I have to remind my board members, hey, there's a differentiation between the board members and the management. Give the management the leeway to make their decisions, and then our board play our roles as a board member to support that, but don't go into the day-to-day operations and start to make decisions. Because we are not educated. We do not know how to run the school. Let the management run the school. Let them come to us, tell us their plan. If we think that there are certain things that can help them, we help them. If there are certain blind spot, we can raise to them. But I think the running of the school, we should leave it to the expert, the principal, assistant principal, who are doing very good job up to now. But what we can do to help is things that they may not know. Okay, for example, to renovate the annex, to build a swimming pool, to build a sport complex. How would the principal know how to do that? They are educators, they are not builders. So as board members, then we have to pull in our network, our expertise, and among us, there are some who are in the construction industry. One of the things that I think we could do better is the communication with the students. Um, I if you can also help us, see how we can organize talks then from the students, and then we can pull in either board members or friends or network among the board members to come in to communicate with the students.
I think that it will be good that all of us extend help to help you guys as well, because I think if we have collaboration between the board members and the students, it will be really good in making the school grow.
Yeah, I believe, right, among the students, I think there are many who are keen to know more about the board members, more know about our experience. Among the board members, there are also many who are keen to share with the students, to know the students and see how we can help you. We all have this heart. It's just that we are all busy with our day-to-day life and there's no bridge. We have not built enough bridges on that. But I think we should start. Yeah, I think this podcast is a good way to start.
Yeah.
So I'm very keen to start with this, and I look forward to more of such collaboration and also exchange of views with the students.
I definitely got a better idea of like what the board of members do, board of directors do. So, in the recent Founders Day as well, you talked about like the many challenges faced in the annex building development. So, like the expansion project started right in the beginning of COVID, and took longer than expected. So, what challenges did you face as throughout the journey?
Okay, there are many. All right. First, the COVID is a big thing because of the lockdown. Then the constructors cannot come in. Then there are also some challenges when we started work. Right. There are some neighbors who think that the noise levels were unbearable. So by 6 plus or whatever, they call the school and say you must stop work and all this. But we say it's still bright. So those are some of the things that we need to manage. Okay, internally, I think ideally we should start the work during school holidays. But sometimes the planning or the execution may not be as smooth or as pinpoint as what we want. So the work may extend beyond the school holidays. And the traffic, the morning, the parents who want to drop off their kids and then move out. So it's not only for HCIS, HCI side, the parents as well. So the traffic move, we have to also talk to HCI side. Very fortunate, they were very supportive, but they also face a lot of problem from the parents. Parents will say, why must I do all this? Why is it inconvenience and all those, right? So, and also during the constructions, there were also certain design um, that we need to change.
Many of the students would also like to know that is most of the financial resources, is it done through donations given to the board, or is it through like our school fees?
We are very fortunate that we can have surplus um, from the school fees. Um, that is also because the school management has been very careful in how we do the investment and how do we um, spend money. Okay. Um, Even when they want to employ teachers, I know that they think very carefully before they put it up to the board. Now, um, why I say that? Okay, firstly, of course, we are lucky to have a very dedicated management team to manage the finance very well. Um, the other good fortunate that we have is our founders. Okay, they have the foresight. They they bought this piece of land. So we have I would think that we have more surpluses compared to the other international school. That is because we do not pay the rent. Okay. See, if you look at the school size, I think easily the school rent would take out a few million a year. Yeah, but we save on that. So that's why we can have a bit more surplus compared to the rest. But doesn't mean that we can splurge on everything that we have. So we have to also prepare um for the rainy days. success should not be measured on how much money you earn. And it should not be measured what kind of position you have achieved. That is beside the point. Okay? Success means you live a good life, you do good for the society, and you contribute to make a positive difference. That is important, and you have good value for it.
I really think HCIS is in good hands, and um, the future of HCIS looks very exciting as well. So, is there something else the school wants to achieve in the foreseeable future? Something planned for next year, maybe?
Next year, I think we have a lot of celebration. So for sure, okay. Um, I'm also thinking of recording down, like what I shared with you in terms of the starting years of HCIS, how we have come, we have owed a lot to people who have, contribute to a school that has nothing to make it successful. I think we cannot forget all those people, their contributions. So you see that in HCI side, you have the clock tower. Then on the college side, you have the horseshoe building. So what is in HCIS? So it's likely to be, we tried to build in the past, but it has not been quite successful. So this time we are giving another try, and we are giving it a harder try. So the school library is going to be a, a very nice library, okay? And the forum outside the library is going to be a place where I think students can interact. So during your free time, you can sit there, make friends, maybe play some games or do your homework or whatever, do group work. So that when you graduate, right, you will have some memory. Those days, oh, I met this who and so there, I did this, I did that. That kind of memories, I think we want to create that kind of memories for our students as well, to have a place that you are very proud of. And in years to come, you will say, hey, why not we go back there, take a pictures and see how different we are. Maybe 10 years ago you look like this, 10 years ago you like that. So we want to have all those um, spiritual kind of developments among our students to make us proud of HCIS, not because you score how many points in IB, but on top of that, of course, that is important, that is good. But on top of that, we want you to have a sense of belonging, of how HCIS has gone through this journey with you.
The IB2s have their media examinations, and some of the IB1s have their final examinations. So, do you have some advice for the students in general, like academically or
As
non-academically?
a student or as a person, all right, we need to know our strength and we need to know our weakness. Or and don't let your weaknesses define you. Okay, and don't let your strength make you feel that you are um above everybody. Right? Um, we are one among the equals. Okay, um, build on your strength. Right, but overcome your weakness. You have strong academic good result is good only as a first step when you open the door. But after that, you have to walk your path. Okay? For students who are not so strong academically, that is the good news, right? It means that you have time to catch up. Okay? Although the door may not open so widely for you, or although there may be not so many doors that open for you, but there will be doors that will be open for you. Okay? I'm sure there will be. Then, after that, you have to use your strength to then catch up. In work, whether you are strong academically or not, we all start equal, right? The only thing is you have more doors that open for you. Okay? After 2 years, 3 years, everybody will be equal. The person who work harder will probably be the leader. Don't compete with others, but compete with yourself. compete with what you were yesterday. As long as you are better than yourself yesterday, you have made an improvement. And aim to be better tomorrow. So by tomorrow, you are better than yourself today. Then you make an improvement. So as long as every day you make that improvement, okay, over the years, you will leap ahead.
Thank you for your advice. I think I will definitely use some of the suggestions you said. Thank you, Dr. Sia, for joining with us. Is there any last words you would like to give to the students?
Okay, I want to wish everybody to have good academic results. That is important for you to repay your parents who pay for your school fees, which is not cheap. Okay, but at the same time, enjoy your school life. Make as many friends as you can. Friends, projects, all these memories, you will remember them for life. You'll cherish that, and you will see that those things make you a better person.
Thank you, Dr. Sia, for your time. It was a really meaningful and engaging conversation. Thank you so much for coming on our podcast. This is your host, Mantra, and till next time, goodbye.